In the land beyond the stars, the devils craved dominion, as the desert craves water, and they knew neither love, nor justice, nor mercy. They made a bargain with the 7 wizards that they would join their souls to the wizard souls and share the wizards' bodies, sharing knowledge and unending life and power. But, so the story goes, Moth added, the devils deceived the wizards and betrayed them. The devils took the souls of the wizards into their own and became one with them and devoured them. They walked as wizards among the wizards and destroyed those who would not obey or who counseled against their counsel. They desired the homage of kings and the enslavement of the folk, and they were never sated as the desert is never sated with rain. They would have ruled the earth and the folk of the earth, and its gods and its goddesses. They would have devoured the spirit of the living earth and turned the strength of the earth against the great gods in their heaven. So the kings of the north and the tribes of the grass and those wizards whom the devils had not yet slain pretended submission and plotted in secret, and they rose up against the tyranny of the devils and overthrew them. But the devils were devils, even in human bodies, and not easily slain. Only with the help of the old great gods were they bound, one by one, and imprisoned, in stone, in water, in earth, in the heart of a flame, in the youngest of rivers, in the oldest of trees, in the breath of a burning mountain, as all the stories say. And they were guarded by demons and goddesses and gods, and the old great gods withdrew from the world again to await the souls of human folk in the heavens beyond the stars. That preamble should have taken them into one of the many stories of the War of the 7 Devils, which everyone knew, but the storyteller pulled them into another tale, not one of the usual cycle, weaving new words into the old pattern. Ulfleif, on the first name, shook her head, not wanting to hear again of her namesake's shame and treachery, and warning against telling it here, under this roof, where Ravenmode King died betrayed. Moth saw the warning. Ulfleif knew she did, but she went on speaking. Mickey, though, rose and disappeared into the darkness of the porch. In the days of the first kings in the north, said the storyteller, there was a woman named Ulfhild, the king's sword. She was the sister of Ravenmode the Wise, his captain, because her mother had raised her to be so, just as her grandmother had set her feet on the path of wizardry, in her girlhood at Ravensfell in the lost western islands. If her heart yearned for another road, and she ran at the heels of her father's skald all her childhood, she knew her duty nonetheless. When the world broke and burned around them and the sea rushed in, it was not her harp she saved, but the sword she had inherited from her uncle, to carry to the founding of the kingdoms in the north. Ulfhild was one of the 7 wizards of the tales. She became the devil Vartu Kingsbane, who was perhaps not the most powerful of the 7 devils, but who would be the most hated, for Ravenmode the Wise was a beloved king, and all the tales agree it was she who betrayed and slew him. Now in this tale, long years after those days, long years after the stories you know, the devil Vartu, who had once been Ulfhild, the silver wolf of Ulfsness, slept in what might pass for death, swordless, fleshless, but she slept lightly. Death could not take the devils, and the old great gods would not. Earth bound her, earth prisoned her, buried deep beneath a grave hill of tunnels and caves and chambers, where the little first folk had once laid the bones of their dead, generation upon generation, turning a natural ridge into a great mound, a village of the dead. A demon of the earth stood sentinel, lest the devil find a way to weaken the bonds the old great gods themselves had set on her. You all know what is said of the demons. Though they may wander all the secret places of the world, their hearts are bound each to their own place. The grave hill of the first folk was the place of the great bear demon Morag, and had been since before bones were ever laid there. Save for her, it was a place of stillness, almost forgotten in the heart of the earth. And there Vartu lay, through season upon season, and none spoke to her but the bear's son. "The what?" demanded the queen's wizard, and the tale shattered. Even Ragnvor gave him a stern look for his rudeness, but Yorfast only laughed, like a boy. The queen smiled forgiveness. Ulfleif made a face, then realized the storyteller had seen it. "Ah," said Moth gravely. She drew up her knees and locked her hands around them. "Didn't I say the demon had a son?"